discuss about the Shannon and Weaver model of communication. So, what do you understand by the Shannon and Weaver model of communication? Let's discuss it one by one. So, Shannon and Weaver model of communication is a mathematical theory of communication that argues that human communication can be broken down into six concepts, that is sender, encoder, channels, noise, decoder, and receiver. It is known as the mother of all models because it's wide. Popularly, the model is also known as information theory or the Shannon theory because Shannon was the main person who described the theory. The model primary value is explaining how messages are lost and restored in the process of communication. The Shannon and Weaver model is a linear model of communication that provides a framework for analyzing how messages are sent and received. It is best known for its ability to explain how message can be mixed up and misinterpreted in the process between sending and receiving the message. Shannon, in his famous article, A Mathematical Theory of Communication, where he outlined the theory, explained what the goal of his model was. The fundamental problem of communication is that of reproducing a message sent from one point, either exactly or approximately to the another. Using the mathematical theory of communication, he hopes to more effectively identify those pressure points where communication is distorted. So, as you seen over your screen, there is a diagram where there are sender, encoder, message, channel, decoder, received. So this is all the model of Shannon. This is all the part of Shannon-Weaver. The Shannon-Weaver model was first proposed in 1948 article, A Mathematical Theory of Communication. In the Bell System Technical Journal by Shannon and Weaver. Shannon and Weaver were both from the United States. Let's know what is the background of Shannon and Weaver. Who are they? So Shannon and Weaver both are from the United States. Clouded, Shannon was a mathematician. He used to communicate and throw the theory to the communication part. Weaver were an electronic mathematical theory. Many believe this mathematical theory of communication was mainly developed by Claude Shannon along with the Weaver, had a minimal role. It is often simply called the Shannon information theory in the science disciplines. Shannon develops the theory to improve understanding of communication, that is, telephone, and eventually improve the quality of phones. It was later used as a general theory of communication. So the Shannon and Weaver model is a mathematical theory of communication. Follows the concept of communication in a linear fashion from sender to receiver. So who is the sender? We have to know there are various elements like sender, encoder, channel, decoder, receiver. So who is the sender? Information source. The Shannon-Weaver model start with the sender or information source. They are the person or object or thing. Any information source who has the information to begin with. The information source start the process by choosing a message to send, someone to send the message to, and a channel through which to send that message. A sender can send a message in multiple different ways. It may be orally, through spoken words, and written through body language, music, etc. An example of a sender might be the person regarding a newscast on the nightly news. They will choose what to say and how to say. Next comes to encoder part. Encoder is a transmitter. The next step in Shannon-Weaver model is the encoder. The encoder is the machine or person that converts the ideas into signals that can be sent from the sender to the receiver. The Shannon model was designed originally to explain communication through means such as telephone and computer, which encode our words. Using codes like binary digits or radio waves. Now, next takes an example of encoder. The encoder might be a telephone which converts our voice into binary ones and zeros to be sent down the telephone lines, the channels. Another encode might be a radio station which converts voice into waves to be sent. That is radio to someone. I hope this topic has clear, that is who is sender and what is encoder. Next is your channel. What is a channel? The next step in the Shannon-Weaver model is the channel. The channel of communication is the infrastructure that gets information from the sender and transmitter through to the decoder and receiver. We sometimes also call this the medium. Let's take an example of channels. A person sending an email is using World Wide Web, that is internet, as a medium. A person talking on a landline phone is using cable and electrical wire as their channel. If we are face to face, perhaps we do not have a channel. Expect the sound waves from our voice that carry the sound from the sender mouth to the receiver ear. Next comes to noise. The next step in the Shannon-Weaver model is noise. Noise interprets a message while it's on the way from the sender to the receiver. It's named after the idea that noise could interpret our understanding of message. There are two types of noise. First, internal, and second is your external. Internal noise happens when a sender makes a mistake encoding a message or a receiver makes a mistake decoding the message. The 2 point where it can happen, that is at the time of encoding. For an example, when you missmell a word in a text message. Second, at the point of decoding. For an example, when someone misinterprets a sentence when reading an email. Next comes to the external noise. Happens when someone external, not in the control of sender or receiver, implements the message. So, external noise happens at the point of transmission through the channel. For an example, when we are having a conversation by a busy highway and the receiver is having trouble hearing over the sound of cars. One of the key goals for people who use this theory is to identify the causes of noise, and it try to minimize them to improve the quality of message. Now let's take some example of external noise. So external noise may include the crackling of a poor turned radio, a lost letter in the post, an interruption in a television broadcast, or a failed internet connection. Next comes to example of internet noise. It may include someone having a headache, so they cannot concentrate. Someone speaks with a heavy accent, or when the sender mumbles when speaking. Next comes to the decoder part. So who is the decoder? The next step in the Shannon-Weaver model is decoder. Decoding is the exact opposites of encoding. Shannon and Weaver made this model in reference to communication that happens through device like telephones. So in this model, there usually need to be a device that decodes a message from binary digits or wave back into a format that can be understood by the receiver. If we are talking about the communication between people without the use of technology, there may still be a need for decoding. Let's take an example of decoding. Decoder can include computers that turn binary packets of ones and zeros into pixels on a screen that make words, a telephone that turn signals such as digits or waves back into sound. Cell phone that also turn bits of data into readable or listenable message. You might need to decode a secret message, turn written words into something that make sense in your mind by reading them out. You may need to decode the message behind a picture that was sent to you. Now next comes to the receiver. Who is the receiver? The next step is seen as the next steps in the Shannon and Weaver model is receiver. The receiver is the end point of the original Shannon and Weaver model of technical communication process. This is the step where the person finally gets the message on what left of it after accounting for noise. Let's take the example of receiver. Receiver might be a person on the other hand of a telephone. The person reading an email you send them. An automated payment system online that has received credit card details for payment and etc. Next comes to the feedback part. Now, the final step in Shannon and Weaver model is feedback. Actually, the feedback setup was not originally proposed by Shannon and Weaver. In the response to the linear nature of approach, linear means that the message are only going one way. Feedback occurs when the receiver of the message responds to the sender in order to choose the communication loop. They might respond to let the sender know they got the message or to show the sender whether they got the message clearly without noise, how well they understand the message. None less than the feedback element seems like a post on the model and is the subject of a lot of criticism. See later in this article, we know the disadvantage of the model. Feedback does not occur in all situations. Sometimes, like when watching TVs, we do not tend to let the people talking on the TV knows what we are thinking. We especially watch the show. Sometimes when feedback will occur include during a chat between friends. When you write a reply email, through your face expression and body language during a conversation. Now let's take an example of Shannon and Weaver also. So we are having so many examples of Shannon and Weaver. Okay, so the Shannon and Weaver model of communication was originally profound for technical communication, such as through telephonic communication. Nothing less, it has been widely used in multiple different areas of human communication. So, one of the example of Shannon-Weaver model is your telephonic communication. So, telephonic communication, you see there is a sender, encoder, channel, noise, and the receiver feedback. Okay, so if we see who is the sender while in the telephonic conversation, the sender is the person who has made the call and want to tell the person at the other end of the phone call that is something important. Discuss about the sender encoder part. So encoder, who is the encoder in the telephonic conversation? The telephone turns the person voice into a series of binary data packets that can be sent down the telephonic lines. Next is the channel. The channel is the telephonic wire itself. This is the telephone wire itself. Now comes to the noise. Noise may occurs if the speaker mumbles. The telephone wires are interrupted in a storm, or the telephone encoder decoder are malfunction. So this is the best example of Shannon and Weaver model. That is your telephone. And if we are talking about the decoder, what is the work of decoder in telephone? The telephone that the receiver is holding will turn the binary data packages it receives back into sound. The replication, the voice of the sender. The receiver will hear the sound made by the decoder and interrupt the message. Now next comes to the receiver. Who is the receiver? The receiver may speak in response to let the sender know what they heard or understood. So I hope this topic has been clear to you, like what is a Shannon and Weaver model. So you have known the examples also. Now let's discuss what are the advantages of Shannon and Weaver model. Okay, so the Shannon and Weaver information theory was revolutionary because it explained the concept of noise. In details, it shows how information is interrupted and help the people to identify the area for communication. For an example, the model includes three labels where communication can be interrupted. These are technical, semantic, and effectiveness. So let's discuss one by one. What is a technical problem in Shannon-Weaver model? Before going further to the barriers of communication, let's discuss what is technical problem. When the decoder, encoder, or channel causes the problem. For an example, when a machine important for the communication of the message has a fault. Second is your semantic problem. This is when the message that was sent in different from the message that was received. A practical way to think about this is the game. Telephone also known as Chinese whispers or telephono roto. The message is lost somewhere in the retailing. Effectiveness problem. This explains how well the message can cause a response or reaction from the receiver. It breaks down communication into understandable parts. The model enables us to look at the critical steps in the communication of information from the beginning to end, transferable to multiple situations. The communication model was originally made for explaining communication through technological device. However, it is being used to explain just about any form of communication you can think of. Now, what are the disadvantages? We have learned the advantage of Shannon V1, but what are the disadvantages of that? So first disadvantages, it is a linear model. There insufficient regards for feedback. The original 1948 Shannon Weaver blueprint did not contain the feedback component when it was added by Weaver. Later on, it was included as a bit of an afterthought. Thus, it lacks the complexity of truly cyclical models, such as Cramer model. Next, it does not account for powerful relationship. The model does not take a social significance look at how information is interpreted differently based on power relationship or identity of those people communicating with one another. Next disadvantage is it does not address one-to-many communication. The mother of all model is silent on the issues that arises when there is one sender and multiple receiver. So I hope advantage and disadvantage are also clear to you. So let's conclude this model and then we will go to the other topic, that is barriers of communication. The Shannon and Weaver model of communication is the mother of our model of human communication. It is also known as the information theory. It is a mathematical theory considered to be a linear communication model created by Shannon and Weaver. It is considered to be a highly effective communication model that explains the whole communication process from information source to information received. Now, next comes to the barriers of communication. What are the barriers of communication? So basically we have four types of barrier. First is your semantic, chronological barrier, physical barrier, organization barrier, and one more, that is psychological barrier. So what do you understand by barrier of communication? So barrier of communication, this far we have seen what we mean by the process of communication. But at the times, even after taking care of every other detail, some misunderstanding arises. So, to eliminate these misunderstandings, we have to understand the most common barrier to effective communication. Now, let's come to the barriers to effective communication. The process of communication has multiple barriers. The intended community will often be disturbed or distorted, leading to a condition of misunderstanding and failure of communication. The barriers to effective communication could be of many types, as I discussed, like emotional, physical, culture, chronological, and so on. Now let's discuss one by one what are these types of barrier. So first is your semantic barrier. What is the semantic barrier? Semantic block or semantic barriers means when there is a language difference. That is a semantic barrier. When we are talking to the other person and they may not understand our language, that comes to be the language barrier. The language barrier is one of the main barrier that limit effective communication. Language is the most commonly employed tool of communication. The fact that each major region has its own language is one of the barriers to effective communication. Sometimes even a thick may reduce the communication ineffective. As per some estimates, the dialects of every two region changes within a few kilometers. Even in the same workplace, different employees will have different skills. As a result, communications channel have to made for different employees. Keep the barrier in the mind. Different consideration have to be made for different employees. Now next comes to the psychological barrier. There are various mental and psychological issues. There may be barrier to effective communication. Some people have stage fear, speech disorder, depression, etc. All of these conditions are very difficult to manage sometimes and will most critically limit the ease of communication. Now next barrier is your emotional barrier. Emotional barrier, that is IQ of a person, determines the easy and comfort with which they can communicate. A person who is emotionally mature will be able to communicate effectively. On the other hand, people who let their emotion take over will face certain difficulty. A perfect mixture of emotions and fact is necessary for effective communication. Emotions like anger, frustration can blur the decision making capacities of a person, thus limits the effectiveness of their communication. Now next comes to the physical barrier. What is a physical barrier? There are the most obvious barrier to effective communication. The barriers are mostly easy removable. In principle, at least, they include barriers like noise, closing door, fault equipment used for communication, closed cabins, etc. Sometimes in a large office, the physical separation between various employees combined with equipments may result in the barriers to effective communication. Next comes to the organizational barrier. As we saw, there are many methods of communication at an organizational level. Each of these methods has its own problem that may become barriers to effective communication. Most of these barriers arise because of misinformation or lack of appropriate transparency available to the employees. Before going next topic, that is speaking skills, there is one more barrier, that is cultural barrier of communication. As the world is getting more and more globalized, any large office may have people from several parts of the world. Different culture have a different meaning for several bases. Values of society, trust, regions or lack of them, food, drinks, pets, and the general behavior will change from one to another culture. Hence, it is a must that we must take these different cultures into account. While communication, this is what we call being cultural appropriation. In many multinational companies, special courses are offered at the orientation stage that let people know about other culture, how to be courteous and tolerant for others. I hope this barriers of communication topic has been clear to you. Now next comes to the next topic, that's this speaking skills. What is speaking? What do you understand by the term speaking? Speaking is an act of making vocal sounds. We can say that speaking means to converse or expressing one thoughts and feeling in spoken language. To speak often implies covering information. It may convey the information, may be from an informal remark by the presentation to a formal address. All speaking is public speaking, whether it's to one or 1,000. Speaking skills. Now we have learned about speaking. Now what are speaking skills? Speaking skills are the skills that give us the ability to communicate effectively. These skills allow the speaker to convey his message in passionate, through full or convincing manner. Speaking skills also help to assure that one would not be able or misunderstood by those who are listening. Now, what are speaking skills? So, speaking skills are basically three, that is verbal, vocal, and visual. So, verbal, as we already discussed, that is only 7%, and that is a word we spoke. Whereas vocal, it is your tone, range, your voice, that is 38%. And if we are talking about visual, it is 55% of total, that is your physical appearance. Okay, now what do you understand by pitch or voice or tone? What is a meaning of tone basically? The tone of a voice we use is responsible for about the percentage of message we are sending. It involves the volume you use, the label, and the types of emotion that you communicate and emphasize, that you place on the word that you choose. Next comes to the pitch. What is a pitch? Pitch refers to a rise and fall in human voice, just like the other aspects of voice. Pitch to play a crucial role in communicating your ideas to others. In fact, it is the pitch, the rise, and the fall in your voice. We can express all the emotion that are being conveyed so that you do not confuse volume and pitch. Let's understand what is the difference between of two. If you are listening to a song, let's take an example. If you are listening to a song and someone asks you to lower the noise, what is that? You will lower the pitch or the volume. Of course, it is the volume that you will lower, but cannot increase or decrease the pitch. However, what characteristics a song is not its volume, but the pitch which the gifted singer so melodious vary. And not just singer, but all speaker need to effectively employ variation in the pitch pattern in their speeches. Pitch is something that adds color to the voice and hence play an important role. Pitch is something that adds colors to your voice for the overall communication process. Next comes to the rhythm. What is a rhythm? Rhythm is basically the pattern of sound you produce. What type of sound you are producing, that means a rhythm. Stressed and de-stressed syllables and word give the rhythms to the English. Rhythm is the music, basically it is the music of English language where ups and downs were happening. Next comes to the what is the use of rhythm? Why it is useful? Use rhythms to carry meaning, pause to give listener time to absorb a complex ideas. Rhythm is a pattern of a sound you produce. Next comes to the stressing. What is stress meaning? Stress is to emphasize a sound and make certain syllables louder, longer, higher pitch, and so on. Example, English first syllable is stressed and second syllable is slightly de-stretched. Next comes to the intonation. Intonation and stress are the key to the speaking English. Fluency with good pronunciation. English spend more time on specific stressed word, while quickly glink over the other, less important word. A sentence can be spoken differently depending on the speaker intention. Before that, we have to know what are the three parts consist of speaking. Before going further, we have to know what are the three parts, that is why to speak, what to speak and how to speak. Okay. So these are basically the three parts or the three basic elements of speaking. So why to speak means not just presentation but also persuade. Get people into the mind. Next is what to speak. What to speak means the individual brainstorming. It's the process you getting your ideas out on paper. Speaking with the format, that is IBC. Introduction, body and conclusion. Next come how we have to speak. So we have to speak like a star, and star stands for situation, task, attitude and result. So these are basically three elements of speaking skills. Next, before going further to the next topic, that is your writing skill, what are the three E's of speaking? First is entertaining, second effectively, and third is enthusiasm. So what do you understand by entertaining? Like your speaking should entertain to the other person. Next, effective. Effective means you speak in a way that other person can listen to you. And enthusiast, enthusiast is the way how you have to speak, how much interest or how much enthusiasm you are having to share your emotion. The human brain start working the moment you are born and never stop until stand up to speak in the public. Now next comes to the writing skills. What do you understand by the term writing skills? Writing skills basically means when we share any information through writing it. It may be helpful for the permanent record. Think before you are writing something. Ask yourself about the means, proposal, or report that is easily understood by the other person. Now, steps to improve your writing skill. Be direct. Like, always put your information to the point. It should be concise. It should not be so longer that it is not understood by the other person. So try to keep as easy as possible. If your opener is not good, then the whole piece of writing will be not good. Now, next comes to the avoid judgments. Business writing is full of industry specific. You should also avoid using grandiose words, hard words. In simple terms, try to write as simple as possible so that your information should be reader friendly. Writers often believes in using a big verb when you are simple one will do. Read what you are writing. Before sending to the other person, try to read your message. Welcome their feedback. Does not resend it. Do not be afraid to ask a colleague or a friend to edit your work. Because once you share the information or the email to the other person, it gives a bad impression. To try to avoid that. Are the sentence straightforward and concise? Try your sentence to always in a point-to-point format. No need to write any unnecessary details. Practice every day. It means build time into your schedule for editing and revising. Read well-writing material every day and be attentive to word choice, sentence structure and flow. Try to improve your writing while writing again and again. It will improve and give you a practice. Next comes to the coherence. Coherence in writing is much more difficult to sustain than coherent speech because writers have no non-verbal clues to inform them if their message is not clear. To try to clear your message, don't try to write any unnecessarily means that it will affect you or it will affect the reader. So writing skills is basically means how you have to write your information in a simple format. Try to write as concise as manner. So somehow it will be valuable for the reader to read it. There are 7 basics of skill. How to you can just write in a easy format. Let's discuss that as well. Writing skills allow you to communicate clearly with others and create useful resource for the workplace. Even profession that does not focus on writing require communication skills. From the intentional activity to daily task, record keeping is very important. Having a range of writing skills can enable professionals in any industry to get noticed by employers. So writing skills involve what? Now there's a question why writing skills is important. What is the use of writing skills here? Why it is? We have known about the how we have to write, how we have to remove the writing, improve the writing skills. Now there is a question: why are writing skills important? Why it is important? So writing skills are important because they allow people to get a point across without being physically present. Many employers get their first impression of future employees through the writing skills they display in their resume, cover letters, and emails. Communicate. Writing skills influence the quality of your work and how others prescribe your professionalism, which can have a direct impact on your ability to get an interview and the excel at work. Writing skills are transferable, so developing a strong understanding of writing process allow you to maintain clear communication and accurate document in any workplace. So we are having the basics, 5 basics how we have to write. For the professional writing is complex process that involves different skills for planning, drafting, and editing. Great writer must be able to quickly learn new concepts and translate ideas into original content. Some area of writing are highly specialized and can be knowledgeable in a single area. So there are some best ways of writing like research, outline, editing, reading comprehension, time management. So these are some of the points. I hope this topic